Have you ever wondered why some people seem to build wealth no matter what life throws at them, while others remain trapped in the same financial struggles year after year? Most people assume the answer is simple. They believe wealth is determined by income. Earn more money and you'll become rich. Earn less money and you'll stay poor. But if that were true, every highly paid professional would be wealthy, and every person with a modest income would struggle forever. Yet that's not what we see. There are people earning six-figure salaries who live paycheck to paycheck. There are lottery winners who lose millions of dollars within a few years. And there are ordinary people with average incomes who quietly build substantial wealth over time. So what explains the difference? What if the biggest obstacle to wealth isn't your income, your education, your background, or even the economy? What if the real barrier is a way of thinking that quietly influences nearly every financial decision you make? Today, we're going to uncover the hidden psychological trap that keeps millions of people financially stuck and why escaping it has less to do with earning more money than most people imagine. Imagine that someone handed you an extra $1,000 right now. What would you do with it? Would you buy something you've wanted for a long time? Upgrade your phone? Take a vacation? Enjoy a nice dinner? There's nothing wrong with any of those choices. But now imagine asking the same question to someone who has spent years building wealth. Their answer might be very different. Instead of asking what they could buy with that money, they might ask how they could use that money to create even more money in the future. That difference may seem small, but over the course of a lifetime, it can completely change a person's financial future. A famous investor once said, "Most people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like." Think about that for a moment. Entire industries are built around convincing people to spend immediately. Advertisements tell us that happiness is one purchase away. Social media constantly exposes us to lifestyles that seem glamorous and desirable. Everywhere we look, we're encouraged to consume. And for many people, this creates a cycle that quietly drains their financial future. The greatest financial prison in the world has no walls. You can't see it. You can't touch it. Yet millions of people live inside it every single day. And the most dangerous part is that many don't even realize they're trapped. When people discuss poverty or financial struggles, they usually focus on external factors. They talk about inflation, the economy, wages, job opportunities, and all of those things absolutely matter. But there is another factor that often receives far less attention: psychology. Not because psychology is the only reason people struggle financially, but because psychology influences nearly every decision involving money. The food we buy, the clothes we wear, the debt we take on, the opportunities we pursue, the risks we avoid. The truth is that wealth often begins long before money enters a bank account. It begins in the mind. Imagine living in a desert where water is scarce. Every day is focused on survival. Whenever you find water, you drink it immediately because tomorrow is uncertain. That behavior makes perfect sense. Now apply the same principle to money. When people constantly feel financially insecure, they often develop what psychologists call a scarcity mindset. Their attention becomes focused on immediate needs and immediate rewards. The future feels distant and uncertain. Long-term planning becomes difficult. Every decision becomes centered around surviving today. And while this mindset can be useful in difficult circumstances, it can also make building wealth extremely challenging. Because wealth is largely built through decisions whose rewards arrive much later. Saving money requires sacrificing spending today. Investing requires patience. Learning valuable skills requires effort before results appear. Building a business often requires years of work before success arrives. All of these activities involve choosing future rewards over present rewards. And that's where many people become trapped. The human brain is not naturally designed to prioritize the distant future. For most of human history, survival depended on immediate action. Food available today was more valuable than food available next month. Safety today mattered more than safety later. As a result, our brains evolved to value immediate rewards. Modern marketers understand this extremely well. That's why you constantly see messages like, "Buy now," "Limited time offer," "Act fast," "Only a few left," "Pay later." Every one of these messages is designed to trigger urgency. And urgency often overrides logic. This is why people sometimes spend money they know they should save. Knowledge is not always the problem. Psychology is. Let's consider two friends. Both earn exactly the same salary. Both come from similar backgrounds. Both receive similar opportunities throughout their lives. Whenever the first friend receives extra money, he spends it immediately. A better phone, a better watch, a nicer car, a few luxury purchases here and there. Nothing extreme, just small upgrades that provide instant satisfaction. The second friend takes a different approach. Whenever she receives extra money, she invests part of it. She buys books, learns valuable skills, builds investments, creates opportunities that can generate future income. At first, their lives appear almost identical. 1 year passes, then 3, then 5. The differences remain small. But after 10 years, something remarkable happens. The gap becomes enormous. Not because one person was smarter, not because one person was luckier, but because one repeatedly chose future rewards while the other repeatedly chose present rewards. This is how wealth is often built. Not through dramatic events, not through overnight success, but through small decisions repeated consistently over long periods of time. One of the biggest misconceptions about wealth is that wealthy people look rich. In reality, many people who appear wealthy are simply spending money. A luxury car is visible. A stock portfolio is not. Designer clothing is visible. Business ownership is not. Expensive vacations are visible. Years of disciplined investing are not. Many people confuse signs of spending with signs of wealth. And this misunderstanding can be incredibly costly. Because when appearance becomes the goal, wealth creation becomes secondary. People begin purchasing things they don't truly need simply to signal success. Meanwhile, the people who are quietly building real wealth often live far below their means. They focus on ownership rather than appearance. They focus on assets rather than status symbols. And over time, those choices produce very different outcomes. Social media has amplified another ancient human tendency: comparison. Everyday people are exposed to luxury homes, expensive vacations, designer brands, and seemingly perfect lifestyles. The problem is that social media usually shows the rewards without showing the sacrifices. It displays the outcome without showing the process. The highlight reel without the reality. As a result, many people feel pressure to keep up, pressure to spend, pressure to appear successful, pressure to prove something to others. But wealth rarely grows under pressure to impress strangers. Real wealth grows through patience, discipline, consistency, and delayed gratification. One of the most important differences between wealthy thinkers and everyone else is how they view time. Most people ask a simple question when they receive money: what can I buy with this? Wealthy thinkers often ask a different question: how can this money help create more money? That single shift changes everything. Every dollar becomes a tool. Every investment becomes a seed. Every skill becomes an asset. Instead of focusing solely on consumption, they focus on creation. And over time, those decisions begin to compound. Imagine placing a tiny snowball at the top of a hill. At first, it barely changes. Its growth is almost invisible. But as it continues rolling, it gathers more snow. It becomes larger, then larger still. Eventually, its growth becomes dramatic. Wealth works in much the same way. The early stages often feel slow. Savings grow slowly. Investments grow slowly. Skills develop slowly. Many people quit during this stage because they don't see immediate results. But compounding rewards patience. Those who remain consistent often experience growth that seems extraordinary to outsiders. Yet there is no magic involved, only time and consistency. Here's a rule that few people talk about. Wealth is not determined solely by what you earn. It's determined by what you keep and what you grow. Someone earning $50,000 a year who consistently saves and invests may eventually become wealthier than someone earning $200,000 a year who spends everything. Income matters, But behavior often matters even more. And behavior is driven by mindset. If there is one lesson to remember from this video, let it be this. The greatest obstacle to wealth is not always a lack of money. Sometimes it is a pattern of thinking, a pattern that prioritizes today over tomorrow, appearance over ownership, consumption over creation, instant gratification over long-term growth. The good news is that mindsets can change, habits can change, decisions can change. And when decisions change consistently, outcomes eventually change as well. Because wealth is rarely built through a single dramatic event. More often, it is built through thousands of small choices made day after day, month after month, year after year. Choices that most people never notice, until the results become impossible to ignore. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about wealth psychology, financial behavior, and the hidden principles that shape success, make sure to subscribe. And before you go, answer this question in the comments. What do you think keeps most people poor? Their circumstances or their mindset? Thank you for watching, and remember, the future you experience tomorrow is being built by the decisions you make today.